Ladies and gentlemen, good day and welcome to the Escorts Limited Q4 and FY20 earnings conference call hosted by HSBC Securities and Capital Markets India Private Limited. As a reminder, all participant lines will be in the listen-only mode, and there will be an opportunity for you to ask questions after the presentation concludes. Should you need assistance during the conference call, please signal an operator by pressing star then 0 on your touchtone phone. Please note that this conference is being recorded. I now hand the conference over to Mr. Vivek Gedda from HSBC Securities and Capital Markets India Private Limited. Thank you, and over to you, sir.
Thank you, Steven, and good evening all. On behalf of HSBC Securities, I welcome you all for Escorts Q4 and FY20 results earnings conference call. I also take this opportunity to welcome the management team from Escorts Limited. Today we have with us Mr. Bharat Madan, Group Chief Financial Officer and Corporate Head, Mr. Shenu Agarwal, CEO Escorts Agri Machinery, Mr. Ajay Mandar, CEO Escorts Construction Equipment, Mr. Dipankar Ghosh, CEO Railway Equipment Division, and Investor Relations team at Escorts Limited. We would start the call with some brief opening remarks from the management, followed by an interactive Q&A session. Before we start, I would like to add that some of the statements that they make in today's call will be forward-looking in nature and are subject to risk as outlined in the annual reports and investor releases. At this point, I would request Mr. Madan to make his opening remarks. Thank you, and over to you, sir.
Thank you, Vivek. Good evening, everyone, and thank you all for joining us on this earnings call for the fourth quarter and financial year ended 31st March 2020. We hope during this unusual time, you, your family, and your dear ones are all safe and well. Over the last few weeks, we remain fully focused on securing health and safety of our employees and all our stakeholders. COVID-19 has impacted industry and respective business operations, and it will take some time to regain normalcy. This quarter reflects the partial impact, but we are preparing ourselves to innovate and digitize our ways to engage and connect stakeholders for the business operations ahead, even as the uncertainty of affairs still exists. During this difficult time, with the support of local administration and all Escortians, we are running various outreach programs around Faridabad, helping local communities, and we are committed to live up to our social responsibility to prevent the pandemic spreading further, while ensuring business continuity. Last week, company has received the permission from government authorities to resume its operation in single shift at all its plants at Faridabad with restricted workforce. We are aligned to government advisories and will ensure taking all the precautions and preventions at our facilities. A few highlights of our company's standalone financial performance for FY20 are as follows. Turnover at rupees 5,761 crore against rupees 6,196.4 crore in previous fiscal is down by 7%. This is primarily due to drop in tractor and construction equipment volumes. Tractor volumes went down by 10.8% to 86,018 tractors as against 96,412 tractors in previous fiscal. Construction volumes went down by 27.1% to 4,042 machines as against 5,544 machines previous fiscal. EBITDA at rupees 675.8 crores as against rupees 733.3 crores in previous fiscal is down by 7.9%. EBITDA margin now stands at 11.7% as against 11.8% in the previous fiscal. Finance costs went down by 3 crores to rupees 15.5 crores as against rupees 18.5 crores in previous fiscal. The total debt outstanding as of March 2020 is rupees 6 crores, down from rupees 277 crores in March 19. Net debt on the balance sheet continues to remain negative. PBT from continuing operations and before exceptional items stands at rupees 648 crores as against rupees 710.3 crores in previous fiscal. Net profit at rupees 485.5 crores as against rupees 484.9 crores in previous fiscal. EPS stands at rupees 40.63 as against rupees 40.58 for last year. The Board of Directors has recommended a final dividend of 25%, that is rupees 2.50 per equity share of face value of rupees 10 each for the year ended 31st March 2020, which is same as in the previous fiscal. Moving on to company's quarterly performance. Turnover at rupees 1,380.7 crores as against rupees 1,631.7 crores in previous fiscal same quarter, Tractor volumes went down by 20% to 20,108 tractors as against 25,136 tractors in last year corresponding quarter. Construction equipment volume went down by 32.2% to 986 machines as against 1,455 machines in last year corresponding quarter. EBITDA at rupees 194.4 crores as against rupees 189.8 crores in last year corresponding quarter. Net profit for the quarter at rupees 140.4 crores is up by 15.7% as against rupees 121.4 crores in last year corresponding quarter. On consolidated basis, turnover at rupees 5,810.1 crore as against rupees 6,262 crores in previous fiscal, and net profit at rupees 471.7 crores as against rupees 477.9 crores. Consolidated EPS stands at rupees 55.04 as against rupees 55.82 in the previous fiscal. Moving on to segmental business performance. Starting with the agri machinery business, domestic tractor industry volume went down by 10% to 7.09 lakh tractors as compared to 7.8 lakh tractors in previous fiscal. Our domestic volume went down by 11.9% at 82,252 tractors as against 93,323 tractors in previous fiscal. Our domestic market share stands at 11.6% for year ended March 2020 as against 11.8% in previous fiscal year. Normally, Escorts registers a considerably high market share in March and in Q4 related to other months and quarters. However, the nationwide lockdown in March announced right before the peak season of the Navratras adversely impacted our sales and market share. On export side, the industry went down by 18% to 76,000 tractors as compared to 93,000 tractors in previous fiscal. Our export volumes went up by 21.9% to 3,766 tractors against 3,089 tractors previous fiscal, driven by new product introduction and penetration in the new markets. During the year, farm track to power track ratio improved to 41 to 59 as compared to 39 to 61 in previous fiscal. Also, our product mix has improved towards higher HP tractors with more than 40 HP proportion improved in FY20 to 51% against 47% in FY19. On channel front, we added 32 new dealers on a net basis in India during the quarter. Total dealers count now stands at 1,000 plus. Going forward, we'll continue to expand our dealer network, specifically in our opportunity markets. Overall, rural sentiments are positive because of a record output of Rabi crop and a favorable initial prediction of this year's monsoon. Sale and repair of heavy machinery was exempted from the lockdown by Ministry of Home Affairs as early as 3rd of April 2020, thereby helping us start a trickle of sales in April. Opening of mandis, aggressive procurement of crops by government, and timely opening of banks and NBFCs will further help in near-term demand recovery. Going forward, we expect tractor industry to regroup faster as compared to a lot of other sectors. Although it's a bit early to say, we are already witnessing pent-up demand coming from the lockdown period. We expect that this pent-up demand shall help industry to show a growth in June to October 2020 period. Full year industry estimate, though, will only be clear sometime during Q2. While the situation around supply chain remains dynamic, we are happy to state that we resumed production of tractors effective day before yesterday, post permission from the government authorities to operate our plant on a single shift basis with restricted manpower. The production is currently at 20% of the normal single shift capacity. The situation with our suppliers is improving rapidly, and that makes us believe that we should be able to progressively ramp up production to about 50 to 60% level by middle of June. We are fortunate to have enough pipeline stocks so as not to lose any significant retail sales until the end of June, by when our production hopefully should also come close to normal levels. Coming to the construction equipment segment business, our served industries, backhoe loader, pick and carry, and compactor, grew by 23% in FY20 over FY19. Our total volumes manufactured and traded products went down by 27% to 4,042 machines as against 5,544 machines in the previous fiscal. Despite volume drop, EBIT margins have remained flat at 3.6% for year ended March 2020 as against previous fiscal. Construction equipment industry has seen slowdown in FY20 on account of financial sector woes and delayed payment for ongoing infra projects. The industry had started to recover from December 19 due to government clearance of payments and increased spending. The lockdown in mid-March 20, however, pulled down this growth momentum. The new emission norms coming into effect from 1st October 2020 may also in the short term impact the demand scenario in the industry. We expect industry to start showing the initial recovery from quarter 2 FY21 and clear momentum to come from quarter 3 onwards. Central government has already budgeted for rupees 1.7 lakh crores for infrastructure, and this investment is likely to kickstart the economy and construction equipment segment recovery. Coming to the railway division, revenue is at rupees 477.2 crores, went up by 21.1% as against rupees 394.1 crore in previous fiscal. During the year, we have executed 38.5% of total orders from new products category with more import content and lower margin as compared to previous fiscal when it was 27%. EBIT margin was at 18% as against 19.9% in the previous fiscal. In future, though, we'll be able to mitigate the impact with gradual localization of these components. Under Make in India program, recently we got RDSO approval for Escorts Make Microprocessor Controlled Electric Brake System called MCBS for three-phase locomotives. We are the first Indian company to join the league of select few companies worldwide who has the capability to design and manufacture such complex braking systems. Currently, the same is undergoing field trials and is likely to be commercialized in FY 2022. Order book for this division stood at more than rupees 400 crores, which will get executed in the next 12 to 15 months. For FY 21, we still expect railway equipment segment to grow by 15% plus, and margins for the segment are likely to be maintained around 20 years level. Just an update on the Kubota's collaboration. So our manufacturing plant in the JV with Kubota is delayed now due to nationwide lockdown. It is likely to start commercial production now by beginning of Q3 FY21. The preferential allotment of fresh shares to Kubota has been approved by shareholders, and we are currently awaiting other regulatory approvals. The share allotment process is likely to be completed sometime during June-July 21. I now request the moderator to open the floor for Q&A, please.
Thank you very much. We will now begin the question and answer session. Anyone who wishes to ask a question may press star and 1 on their touchtone telephone. If you wish to remove yourself from the question queue, you may press star and 2. Participants are requested to use handsets while asking a question. Ladies and gentlemen, we will wait for a moment while the question queue assembles. The first question is from the line of Hitesh B from Kotak. Please go ahead.
Yeah, thank you for taking my question. First of all, I would like to mention that I hope everybody is safe and healthy in your firm and in your families. My basic question is more related to the financing and tractor segment. We have been, whatever you have given, you have told us in the opening speech that rural sentiments at least are quite positive because of the crop. But there is also an issue of funding tractor purchase, right? So what is happening on that front? Can you give us some sense how public sector banks, NBFCs, private banks are behaving, and what are your tie-ups in the banking space? And are you seeing any issues in funding?
Yeah, so this is Shenu Agarwal. As everything else, the banks and NBFCs and private banks all closed down in the lockdown. But the good thing was that the government or the MHA actually exempted banks and NBFCs a little bit earlier than the rest of the things, right? So we had actually banks started opening up around last week of April to some extent. And now at the right now, the position is that about 60 to 65% of the banks banks are running at about 60 to 65% of their normal capacity already, right? Which means that the branches are getting opened where they have branches, where they have people, about 2/3 of the people have started moving to the field for physical verification. And disbursement have started happening. I think it will take another maybe couple of weeks for the banks to operate fully. Except of course in the containment zone.
Shenu, my question was more related to whether you are seeing a lot of, risk appetite from banks going off, especially in the tractor segment. Because, what we are hearing is because of the moratorium that they've given to most customers, they are being very, very cautious unless they see what is happening to their moratorium book. Any issues in terms of customers getting credit on the tractor side? That is what my question was actually.
No, nothing at all. Of course, there is a moratorium, and of course, the collection of the previous loan portfolio had become an issue. But right now, actually, we are seeing them that they are very, very hungry, right? Because agri is one sector where they can really increase their loan book. I mean, we have been talking with all the banks during the lockdown period, even at the top levels, and to see what is their outlook. And most of them are telling us that they will focus much more on agri sector this year than other sectors, because other sectors they will not get that much of business. Right? So, I mean, in our case, actually every bank is behind us to give them cases, and I think the same situation will stay. I mean, the comfort the banks are getting, although, I mean, a moratorium is there, right, which I think about 40% of the customers have taken, at least in our sector. Not every customer has taken it. The comfort is that the Rabi crop has been very, very good, and the prices of most of the crops is very, very good. Government is focusing much more on procurement. I mean, you would have seen the announcements from FCI. The kind of procurement they are doing is totally unprecedented. I mean, they have never done this kind of a direct procurement. And I mean, I think the procurement is up to the level of 78, 79 million tons, what they have proclaimed. Right? So if they do that, I mean, there will be a lot of money in the hands of the farmers.
Yeah, that is very heartening to hear actually, because there was a lot of statements on the financing side that we were hearing. Just a related question, one question, then I'll shift back to the queue. Just wanted to get a sense that how do the farmer behave in terms of, because there are a lot of migrant laborers who are going back to their villages, right? So their cost, they don't have work right now. So their burden is also coming to the family, right? So and also a lot of labor will be now available for the farming side. So do you see that as a headwind for tractor for next 3, 4, 6 months until this migrant labor issue gets sorted out? So what is happening on the field in terms of these dynamics playing out in the rural area?
Yeah. So see, we have been tracking this issue, of agri labor, quite closely actually. And you know that in India, most of the agri labor, it comes from about 5 or 6 states, right? And it spreads over all of the country. So since about, let us say 30-40% of the agri labor has moved back. No, not all. I mean, we hear all that in the news, but I mean, not everybody has moved back, right? So about 30-40% of the labor has moved back. So definitely there is some scarcity in some states of labor, and there's a little bit of access in some other states where they originally belong to, right? So I mean, see, the shortage of labor is actually going to help us, both in the near and the long run, because people who do not have machines or equipment, I mean, they have no choice but to invest in it right now. And the situation with the cash flow, since it is really good after the record Rabi crop. I mean, and the sentiment is extremely positive. So farmers are not hesitating to in the machinery, right? So that is why we think there is a lot of pent-up demand that is coming up. I mean, normally you would say that if the sale is gone, I mean, mostly it is gone, right? But in our case, I think we are seeing at least 40-50% of pent-up demand already knocking on our door in terms of inquiries and leads and all that, right? So yeah, so I think shortage of labor or migration of labor is only going to help agri sector in terms of mechanization.
Okay, great. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Before we take the next question, a reminder to the participants, please limit your questions to 2 per participant. Should you have any follow-up, request you to rejoin the queue, please. The next question is from the line of Nitin Shah from Reliance Securities. Please go ahead.
Yeah, hi, this is Mitul Shah. Thank you for taking my question and congratulations for a very strong number, sir. So I have 2 questions. One is on the agri side in terms of inquiry level, as you stated, a pent-up demand close to 40-50% returning. So can you share some geography-wise color on this, how this Rabi crop played out in various key geographies, and how the inquiry level variation between the north, south, east, west, our stronger and weaker market? That is first question. Second question is on the railway side. We are indicating again growth despite this situation. So in terms of payment from the government side, as well as how confident you are that order book will not get cancelled or will increase. And lastly, on the construction equipment side, if you can throw light despite such a high decline, you reported decent margins. Hello?
Yeah, Mitul, thank you for the question. I will answer, I agree, first. And, see, right now it is very, very difficult to say how this will impact the distribution of demand, right? Because, still, like, there are some areas which are opening up, there are some local problems on the ground, etc. But broadly speaking, see, Rabi crop is mainly dominant in the areas where we are strong, right? So paddy crop comes a little bit later in the paddy belt, right? So right now the crop which has come is primarily in Haryana, Punjab, UP, Rajasthan, Bihar, and MP, and so on, right? And these are our strong markets. So actually, right now in our strong markets, we are seeing that pent-up demand coming back because of a good crop and a positive rural sentiment. On rest of the markets, it will take some more time for us to determine how the demand outlook will be, because when that crop gets harvested, then we will know like how it is. But I think the situation on the ground is pretty positive. Also because monsoon first prediction is good, and that is on top of the fact that the reservoir levels are already very, very high, right? So there is no dearth of water actually for this season. If the monsoon goes well, then I think we are all set for at least a couple of years, if not 3 years, in terms of water availability, which is a big factor in tractor industry. Right? So I think overall it is going to be okay. I don't see any area where we are seeing any distress specifically, or any crop where we are seeing any distress. So I think, it's quite universal.
Because of this geographical advantage, our market share should improve, right?
It should, because of the Rabi crop. Rabi crop always helps us. Bharat had said in his opening comment that normally in Q4 or March, our market shares are very, very high. And that is, and one reason of that, among others, is that Rabi really helps us, relatively better than the other crop. Right, because Rabi is mainly dominant in north, central, and eastern India.
Yeah. So, on construction and railway.
So this is Deepankar. Let me answer the railway portion of your question, Mitul. First and foremost, we are seeing a pretty very good response from railways, wherever we have already submitted the bills and all the documents, railway has started to pay us, and the payments are coming in time. Payments are coming. There is no bottleneck for payments not coming. So we feel that once the railway, many other offices open, we will be pretty confident about all the collections and receivables. And parallelly, we have been having a lot of interactions with railway board, senior people of railway board, and also many other people of the zonal railways and the railway production units, who are also pretty confident about maintaining the already existing tenders and also growing in the numbers what they have projected before. So we feel that we should be able to maintain that 15% plus growth, if not more, in the FY21.
Great, sir. Great. And lastly, on construction equipment margins.
Yeah, Mitul. This is Ajay Mandar with you. See, what we have done in last couple of years is that we have started chasing the products where we make money. And predominantly, our growth, if you see segment-wise also in pick and carry, probably, on the higher side of the market, where you have the right kind of margins, the volumes and the market shares are very, very phenomenal. You talk about 68%, 70% around about. And on the low end of the market, we are generally low on operations, and we don't want to operate in those markets where we don't make money. And on those product segment also where we don't make money. So that structural change we have done, plus we have worked on the cost. The operational efficiency has improved quite a bit. At one side, the quality is going up, and on the other side, we are looking at cost, trying to make all your fixed costs, convert more of them into dynamic costs. So that is a benefit that we are getting on the break-even point. If you see the break-even point probably would have come down by 30% for us. So we are working on that direction, and I think, it's basically the upturn that is going to happen on the volume will give you a huge kind of leverage in terms of margins that we'll get. As far as we are concerned, I think we are going linear. We are lean on costs and on the right products. We are doing all our product development on the right products only. We don't want to get into the area where we don't make money. So the growth will be like this, and we'll be looking at profitable growth.
The break-even point would be around 700 units per quarter now?
Roughly, yes.
Okay, sir. Thank you. Thank you very much for the detailed answer.
Thank you. A reminder to the participants, please limit your questions to 2 per participant. The next question is from the line of Raghunandan from Emkay Global. Please go ahead.
Thank you, sir, for the opportunity. I have 2 questions, both to Shenu, sir. Firstly, on the demand side, how is the demand in non-agri segment for tractors, and what would be the share of this non-agri segment, and how do you see the impact on overall demand this year? Secondly, for FY21, which regions do you expect to do better? Like in the March quarter, South and West actually did better than the North and Central regions. So what are the expectations on region-wise performance this year? Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Raghu. See, for the non-agri sector, which is the commercial sector, last year, as I have been telling you, that last year we were facing some bottlenecks and some hurdles because the construction industry was not behaving very, very well until about December, January. Right? So, there was a little bit of pushback in the non-agri demand. But this year we think, so it started improving already in like January, February, and of course then we got into the lockdown. But I think this year all that demand should come back. I think the focus on the government focus also on construction will improve going forward, right? And most of the projects which were banned, like mining, etc., they were already opened up, right? So we are yet to see finally how it will shape up. It's too early to say, but broadly, thinking, I think it should be much better than last year. Of course, the contraction will continue probably in that for a longer time as compared to agri demand, right? So agri demand is already kind of like I said, we are already getting some pent-up demand from the lockdown period, right? So for non-agri, it might take some more time for that to happen. So that was one. The other was the distribution of demand. That is right, because normally the last fortnight of March is extremely good for North, Center, and East, up to Bihar, because that is the period when this Rabi thing happens, and farmers already like in March or late February start getting a feel of how good the crop will be and what kind of prices they will get. Right. So in North and Center, normally there is a huge kick-up in the demand in the last part of, in whole of March rather, but especially in the last fortnight of March. Now, unfortunately, because that did not happen because of the lockdown, so overall in quarter, you will see that South and West are looking much better relatively. Right. But that is going to change. This whole pent-up demand that we are expecting will come mainly from Northeast and Center. So I think that Q1 or Q2 scenario will be quite different than Q4 scenario.
Thank you, sir. I'll come back in the queue for more questions.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Gunjan Prithyani from JP Morgan. Please go ahead.
Yeah, thank you, sir, for taking my questions. Just a clarification, the previous question you answered that South and West did better in quarter 4. Is that understanding correct?
Relatively, yes.
Okay, got you.
Overall, in quarter 4, the industry degrew by 9%. Right? We were hoping that industry will actually grow in quarter 4, by about 10 or 11%, right? But we lost about, let us say at industry level, we lost about 35,000 odd tractors because of the lockdown. Also remember that Navratra was actually a lockdown happened right before the Navratra. And Navratra is very, very strong in north, center, and east, as compared to south and west, right? So there was, we were hoping for a huge upsurge in demand because everything was moving so well in quarter four relative to quarter 1, 2, and 3, where we actually saw negative industry growth, right? But then quarter 4, we were actually expecting the industry to grow to 10%, 11% level. But finally, it ended up at -9. And most of the hit that came from there was because of the lockdown in the north, center, and east. Right. So that is the clarification.
Okay, got you. Now, just on this point which you mentioned about Navratra, I would have anticipated that typically this is a very seasonal demand, right? I mean, right at the time of harvesting or around, festive is when typically farmers come and buy. And unfortunately, the whole lockdown period coincided with that. So to that extent, do you really anticipate that the demand that we lost out in the month of March, particularly in the north region or in the regions where Navratra is important, will that come back as the market relaxations happen? And also the second thing, I wanted to know around your dealerships, what proportion of your dealerships are now open across India?
Okay, yeah. So firstly, for your question, first question, yes, we think that the demand will come back because we are already seeing that those leads coming back to us, which we could not deliver tractor during March or Navratra. So most of them, let's say 50% of them are very, very interested in buying a tractor right now, and some more are interested in buying a tractor between June and October period. Right. So that I think that will happen. Just looking at the ground situation. Sorry, what was the other question?
If you can give some sense on how much of the dealerships are open, and as dealerships open, what are the challenges you're facing in terms of, like, of course you spoke about the financing, but are farmers really walking in given the fear of the virus? Any sense you can give on the dealership side?
Yeah. So on the dealership side, as of yesterday, we had about 65% of our dealerships open for sale, which means their showrooms were open, about 65%. And the situation is actually improving rapidly every day, right? So every day, another 50, 70, 80 dealerships get opened every day, right? Now, that is on the showroom or the sales side. On the workshop or the repair side, almost about 90% of the dealerships are open. So these are the dealerships where they just are providing doorstep services to customers and providing other services on tractors, repairs, etc. But they are yet to open for sales because they haven't received local permissions, etc. for showroom openings. But as I said, the situation is improving very, very rapidly.
And footfalls, have you seen? You're not sensing any people are hesitant to walk into the showrooms yet because of the whole fear around virus?
Yeah. So see, in tractor industry, it is a very BTL based industry. It is not an advertising led industry. So not many people, they walk into the showroom, right? So normally the sales, the way the sales happen is that our sales teams or dealer sales teams have to, use their network in the villages and hunt for leads. And then they have to go to the villages and get the leads done. Now, all that, is something that will change because of the current situation, at least for the next 6 to 9 months, right? So we are devising actually very innovative new digital methods to do our lead generation exercise. A lot of it is social media, a lot of it is phone calls, video conversations. We have developed some great tools, that instead of a field demo, we can probably give a demo on the phone or a tab or something, and also we are doing a lot of partnerships with other companies, like companies in seeds and agriculture and fertilizer domain, even telecom companies and a lot of other companies, a lot of these people who are startups in the agri sector, etc. Yeah. So I think the essence of demand generation will be very, very different, will get changed over the next 6 to 9 months. But the fact that the sentiment is very, very high, is very, very positive, in rural India. So our leads are actually at a reasonably good level. They are not normal, but they are about 90% of the normal right now.
Wow. I'll join back the queue, but it's good to hear some positivity in an environment where we are only hearing negative. Thank you so much.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Jinesh Gandhi from Motilal Oswal Securities Limited. Please go ahead.
Hi, sir. Congrats on reasonable numbers in this kind of environment. My first question pertains on your margin performance for tractor business. We have seen a very impressive margin improvement both on YY and on QOQ basis. Is there any one-off in that? If not, what are the drivers of these margins and how much it is sustainable?
Yeah, Jinesh, this is Bharat Pradhan. So there is one-off is in the sense that this time we had a good inventory levels in the quarter because sales suddenly stopped. So we actually landed with almost 4 to 5 weeks of inventory on our books. So that has led to some impact coming in favorable because some overheads which actually should have actually got recognized when you had the sales booked up. But we had to recognize them and take it to inventory. So which is roughly 2% of the margin actually has come from that, which will have a negative impact in the coming years when you actually sell those tractors. So if you barring that, the rest of the stuff is normal.
Okay. So that is the inventory related cost absorption. Okay.
That's right.
And second question pertains to, you referred to the DRDO approval for the braking system. Any sense on what would be the revenue opportunity in that, and who are the current suppliers, and how soon we can expect orders on that? Primarily the RDSO approval for braking.
Okay, this is Deepankar. We have the prototype approval has already happened. It will go for a 1 year of field trial, it will go very soon. And the market size is around 700 to 800 crores market size. With the present number of locomotives being manufactured in the country, but the way things are with the dedicated freight corridor coming up, and there are a lot of other export potential being explored by the locomotive production units, both CLW and DLW. And this particular locomotive brake system can even go in for the other 2 big locomotive factories, both for the GE and the Alstom. So we see a big potential out there, but as of now, the present total market size around 700 to 800 crores, and there are only two multinational players, which is Knorr-Bremse and Febelli are the 2 people who are supplying this 800 crore market.
Sorry, who was the second supplier? Febelli.
Febelli,
Okay.
Febelli, France, presently bought over by Wabtec US.
Right. Okay, great, sir. Thanks. I'll come back in queue.
Thank you. A reminder to the participants, please limit your questions to 1 per participant. Should you have any follow-up, request you to rejoin the queue, please. The next question is from the line of Praveen Yelokar from CGS-CIMB. Please go ahead.
Yeah, thank you, sir, for the opportunity. Sir, my question on tractor segment. Sir, in the current challenging conditions, so have you seen any past trends of down trading in the tractors in the down cycle of the tractors? In terms of horsepower wise,
can you repeat?
My question was on down trading of tractor. Down trading in terms of horsepower wise. Have you seen any kind of certain trends in the past that in the down cycle, customer or farmers generally down trade?
Yeah. So you are right, actually. That is what happens normally in a down cycle. That tractors, the customers tend to migrate towards slightly lower HP. But there are 2 factors here. One is that, the industry itself is on a rise, and we are also on a rise. Like you have seen, we have done much better in 41 to 50 HP as compared to the lower HPs in the last year. And that is on behalf of a lot of new product launches we have done. Right. So, there has been a launch actually in Q4, which we haven't been able to mature completely because of the lockdown. But we did launch a new series called Comtrack Power Max series, which we are getting actually some very, very rave reviews. And this series actually starts at 47, 48 HP and goes to 55 HP, right? So yeah, I mean, but you know, so we were also doubting in the initial days of the lockdown that probably that will happen. But how it has come across now with the positive sentiment, the good cash flow in the farmers, you know, so we are not seeing that actually right now. Right? I don't think that is a thing to worry for future also, because I think the farmers' sentiment is very positive. So they are not hesitating and putting another 1 lakh rupee in buying a higher HP tractor if they really need that.
Okay. That's helpful. And sir, the second question on the dealership. Sir, how are we supporting our dealers in terms of this liquidity crunch? Any on the financing side we are supporting to dealers?
Yeah. So see, I mean, there has been, of course, a liquidity crunch. I mean, in the terms that their cash was blocked in the stocks and you know, the tractors that they had advanced to the customers, hoping for getting the loans financed, right? But since you know, I mean, the agri sector was actually exempted on 3rd of April, right? I mean, just after about like 8, 10, 11 days of lockdown. Right. So, and the banking sector also started opening up about 10 to 15 days ago. Right. So we were not hit as much as, you know, some other sectors were hit because of this. But we have announced a lot of relief measures for our dealers and have given them some concession on interest. We have also given them some collection incentives so they can, I mean, move their people and focus their people more on collection at this time. To get out of any crunch they might be facing. And of course, most of the banks have given a moratorium, even on working capital loans, right? So, I mean, the situation is not that bad. And of course, wherever it is, we are working very closely with the dealers to support them in whatever way we can.
Okay. And my last question on this Kubota deal. So, have we finalized any plan to monetize this deal? Means, anything to highlight there? How are we going to utilize this money?
So, yeah, so I think the business plan between the two companies is still in the finalization stage. So I think it will take maybe another 2 or 3 months before they have this entire 5 years roadmap laid out. And that roadmap will also have the investment details where this money is going to be utilized. So as of now, we are not ready with that, but it's a work in progress.
Okay, that's it from us. Thank you.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Siddhartha from Nomura Securities. Please go ahead.
Hi, sir. Thanks for taking my question. My first question is on the margin side. So you have indicated that close to 200 bps will be from due to higher inventory, but the gross margin improvement seems to be pretty high at nearly 470 bps. So anything else which is benefiting margins in the quarter, or?
No, so like you mentioned, obviously there's been improvement in the product mix also. There's also some value addition which happened and some cost initiative on the material cost front, and also the deflation in the commodity prices which has helped in this quarter. So the material cost actually has improved. Even on a year-on-year basis, you've seen the improvement is 2 to 2.5%. And in the quarter, obviously, is significant. So even if you remove the 2% impact from material cost, still there's a 2% drop even on a sequential basis. So that's a benefit which is made there. And right now, I think in this current situation, we also don't see major inflation pressure is going to come in till the time you see the recovery happening on the production side. So I think the market looks like soft as of now. So probably the things will continue. So the margin trajectory should continue.
Okay. So what will be the impact from the product mix? Can you indicate that?
So as you mentioned, the product mix has been favorable. Like we said, in the farm track to power track ratio has also improved by almost 2%. So the farm track typically, like you mentioned, we had not been fully able to still realize the potential of the new launch we did in Q4. And also our sales has shifted more towards the higher HP segment, which is 40 HP and above, which is typically a normally high margin product range. So that's something which is going to benefit in the long run too.
Got it, sir. And the second question is on the financing side again. Sorry for coming back on it. So we were hearing some news from dealers that the banks were lowering the loan-to-value ratios for most customers due to the moratoriums and funding issues. So have you heard anything on that front, or the loan-to-value continues whatever it was earlier?
Siddharth, that is very, very sporadic. I mean, that is happening only in a few areas where still there is kind of the areas where there is a kind of a red zone, etc., where the movement is not very sharp. But those are very, very sporadic and limited. But in most of the other areas, the banks have actually, a few banks on our request have actually enhanced the LTVs because they want to be very, very aggressive and they want to increase their market share in tractor segment because they are getting hit in other segments like auto and bike and even trucks, etc. Right? So, I mean, most of the banks are actually eager to support the agri industry right now. But yes, I mean, you are right. I mean, in some very sporadic cases, it might happen that the LTV might be reduced. But even in those cases, the LTV reduction is very, very small, like 5% or so.
Okay, sir. Got it. Thanks. I'll come back to this one.
Thank you. A reminder to the participants, please limit your questions to one per participant. The next question is from the line of Pratik Poddar from Nippon India. Please go ahead.
Yes. Yeah, sir. So just one question. Today, in your view, is supply a major constraint or demand is, what are you more worried about? Would it be supply or demand as we speak today?
Right now, we are more worried about supply because supply chain is a complex mechanism. And our vendors are spread throughout the country. And if a tractor has 3,000 parts, we have to have all 3,000 to be able to produce even a single tractor. Right? Of course, we had some inventory in hand. And, so we have started production, as Bharat mentioned, the day before yesterday, after taking all the requisite permissions from the government. But supply chain is definitely going to be a challenge for at least next 4 weeks, right? So, I mean, right now, I mean, we have started production at a very, very low level, but we hope that we will reach to about 50% of normal production level by mid of June. And by beginning of July, we think we should be very close to normal production, right? So, supply chain, we did anticipate that it will take a few weeks.
But what steps are you taking to mitigate this? Because as of now, this red zone, green and amber is so dynamic. I was just thinking about what are mitigating steps you are taking, because if one of your suppliers is asked to shut down and you said there are 3,000 parts in a tractor, you will not be able to supply a tractor. So could you just talk a bit about this supply chain rationalization or, circuit breakers which you would have in place or fallback options which you would have in place, so as to not lose sales because of this lack of production or because of a vendor?
Yeah, so 2 or 3 things, Pratik. One is that we are working very, very closely with our vendors. I mean, almost dialoguing on a daily basis. We are trying to help them, like all the vendors like all vendor community in Faridabad. We are actually trying to directly help them with resuming their operations. Even to some extent helping them getting permissions from the government authorities, etc. Right? So that is one. The other thing is that, I mean, most of our parts, if not all, we have an alternate source, right? So I mean, to some extent, like even if for the particular part, one vendor cannot operate, we can actually start with other vendors, right? And that is why I said that even by middle of June, we are hoping for only 50% of the production. Because even if like some vendors can close, the other vendor cannot supply us the whole quantity, right? But at least he can provide us probably half the quantity or something like that, right? So that is kind of mitigation already built in our structure, supply chain structure. I mean, we cannot change the structure of the vendors or supply chain at this moment in time. That is a long drawn process. It takes about 6 to 9 months at least to develop a vendor and do all that stuff. So we have to work with the vendors that we have right now. There is no 2 ways about it, right? It's just that the more we collaborate with them, the more we discuss with them, dialogue with them, the more we can help them, probably we'll be able to get back to normalcy faster.
And lastly, sir, what about efficiency at the plant level, sir? If you could talk about throughputs because of these social distancing norms, do you believe there could be an impact in terms of labor efficiency? Yeah. Hello?
Yeah. So most of our labor. Can you hear me, Prateek? Hello?
Hello? Yeah. Go ahead, sir.
Okay. So most of our labor, so we are not having a problem because of the migration of labor, because most of our labor is local. The second thing is that right now we are operating at about 20-25% of the labor, right? I mean, it has been just 2 days that we started the plant after requisite repair, maintenance and all that stuff, right? So labor is not going to pose a problem. I think the main challenge is going to be or the social distancing in France. We have already received permission for 75% labor that we can bring in our plants of normal times, right? We have spent a lot of effort and time and energy and money to make sure that everything is safe and social distancing norms are met, and there are like thousands and thousands of markings on the floors ensuring that people do not move from their space. They maintain all the precautions. Right. So labor is not going to be a problem. As I said, we have already received permission from the government for deploying 75% of the labor, and we are just working with 10-20% because we want to correct the supply chain first. But supply chain, if you are right, we are hoping that it will be okay by July sometime. But there could be some surprises here or there because the situation is quite dynamic.
Thank you so much for your detailed answers. So appreciate it. Thank you so much all.
Thank you. A reminder to the participants, please limit your questions to one per participant. The next question is from the line of Ankit Kushenty from Axis Securities. Please go ahead.
Hi, this is Ankit Kushenty from Axis Securities. Thank you for the opportunity. My question is again on the demand front. So when you're saying that there's a lot of pent-up demand as well as the production would be close to normal by July, do you expect a year-on-year growth in your numbers coming from Q2 itself, or do you see that coming from Q3? And similar question in the construction equipment division. When do you see a year-on-year growth coming in FY21, given that FY20 Q2 was also weak?
Yeah. So see, I think Bharat mentioned about it briefly that the lockdown happened right before the Navratra, and therefore for Navratra we had actually pumped up our pipeline of tractor stocks, quite a bit, right? So at the time of the lockdown, we had actually kind of three times the stock that we normally want to keep because Navratra is such an upsurge in the demand. Right. So fortunately or unfortunately, unfortunately because we did not see the Navratra at all this time. Fortunately because we have a huge pipeline of stock. Right. We have let us say, dealer stock is normal, but the depot stocks is quite high. Right. So right now we are thinking that it will take us through the end of June. Right. With some crunch here or there, but we will not lose any significant sales until end of June. And from July, as I said, we are hoping that our production will come to meet, and also the fact that July and August are not big months, so I think we will not lose sales in July and because July and August are actually the weakest months of the whole year for tractor industry. So I think to that extent, the timing is okay. I think the stock availability in the pipeline is actually helping us. And I think, if we can meet our plans or what we are thinking, we should be okay.
Okay. And on the construction equipment, similar, what timelines do you see on a year-on-year growth, given that again construction equipment was close to 25-30% decline in FY20?
Yeah, Ankit, this is Ajay with you.
Yes.
Ankit, what happened in March was 50% reduction basically in the volumes that happened for that particular month. Typically, if you see in construction equipment, H2 is much more heavier. You generally tend to get 55% of your sales towards the H2. Now, when we discuss with the people in the construction equipment, talk to the government, we are getting an impression that the tempo should build up going forward, maybe the Q2 onwards. But then the monsoons will start. So, there would be demand, but there would not be that great a big pickup over the last year. And from quarter 3 and quarter 4, we expect the market to recover. Overall, we don't expect market to be growing by leaps and bounds, which used to happen earlier. Still, I think plus minus 10%, I would say 10% minus over this year should be something which the market should look at.
Okay. Okay, that's
and again, having said that, you are in an uncertain world, basically. You don't know, how much money has been put onto infrastructure. If the money is put onto infrastructure is much more of a bigger quantum, then probably, the growth can happen much faster and there will be much substantial growth.
Oh, yeah, sure. And my second question is around... Yeah, just...
Sorry to interrupt, sir. For any follow-up, request you to rejoin the queue, please.
Sure.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Bharat Kirani from Sharekhan. Please go ahead.
Yes, sir. Thank you for the opportunity. Just one clarification. This is in continuation to the question, to the answer given to the previous participant. So, all in all, in FY21, because of the statements that you made that you have sufficient inventory to cover the demand, you will not lose out on demand because of the sufficient inventory that you have in the system at the depot level, and assuming that you reach normal production by July. So for a year as a whole, FY21, you had earlier in the call given a guidance of 5% growth. So, what is the kind of number you are looking at now? So that would be my first question.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I don't think we gave a guidance of 5% growth by FY21. I think Bharat in the initial comment said that it is too early to say anything about FY21. But at the same time, we do feel strongly that from June to October period, I think the industry growth would remain positive in the tractor market. Right? Of course, April, May would be bad. April was like, let us say 10-15% of the demand, normal demand. May probably we are looking at about 50% of the normal. And June would be somewhere close to normal. Right? And then from probably July onwards, I think we'll see some positive growth, at least until October. Right? But it will take us a few more weeks to ascertain all this, because this is just our kind of intelligent guess right now based on the situation on the ground. Right? So in another few weeks, we should be able to kind of reconfirm this aspect and maybe have a better look at better guidance for the FY20. Yes.
Okay, fine. And assuming that the monsoon is normal, so what's directionally your view on FY22 for the tractor industry? Would you like to share any thoughts on that?
Yeah, so I think FY22, depending on the water situation, I think the initial prediction is already come. More confirmative prediction will come in a few days, right? But reservoirs are already very good, and there has been a couple of disruptions in the recent past in the tractor industry, which is like last year overall. In FY20 overall we were down. And then this lockdown period has put some further restrictions on the demand to surface, right? So I think there will continue to be a lot of pent-up demand, right, in the market. And FY22, both because of these structural situations and also because of monsoon, I think we should have a good year. I don't see anything going wrong right now for FY22 also, right now. Actually, I think that it might surprise us on the positive side.
Okay, fair enough, sir. Thanks a lot, sir. And all the best.
Thank you. A reminder to the participants, please limit your questions to one per participant. For any follow-up, request you to rejoin the queue, please. The next question is from the line of Sujit Kanodia from Angel Broking. Please go ahead. So Sujit, your line is in talk mode. Kindly go ahead with your question. As there is no reply from the current participant, we move to the next question from the line of Aditya Makharia from HDFC. Please go ahead.
Yes, sir. Just wanted to know, the Kubota deal, so the focus will remain on the premium tractors, or will we even look to go, down the range? Like what is the thinking behind the entire product suite from Kubota? Hello?
Okay. So if you're talking about the JV that we have with Kubota, which is called Escorts Kubota India Private Limited, I mean, that is a kind of a manufacturing JV where Kubota will produce their own tractors. And of course, Kubota always has played on a premium side, right? And in that JV or in that plant, we will also manufacture contract tractors. And those tractors that we are going to produce in that plant would be also our premium products. Right. So as far as manufacturing is concerned, of course, it will be all for the premium tractors.
Okay. And will we make any agri implements also? Is that also part of the understanding?
Not yet. It is part of a broader thinking process right now. But we are speaking with Kubota as to what we can do in that space as well. But nothing concrete as of now. But yeah, definitely some thinking in progress.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Vasudev Banerjee from Ambit Capital. Please go ahead.
Yes, sir. Congrats for good set of numbers. Just a couple of things. One, I missed out, somebody asked in the call also that in your supply chain there can be dependence on various components without which the whole assembly won't be possible, and several areas are still under the red zone. So what is the update from that perspective, how to understand your complete supply chain and parts being available for full assembly?
Yeah. So as I explained earlier, I mean, it's not true that everything is going to be shut down or is already shut down in red zones, right? Red zone like Faridabad itself is a red zone, right? But we have received permission to deploy 75% of people. I think the view of the government right now, going forward, and even right now, is that we have to learn to live with the virus. I mean, we just can't stop economy and then hope to have a longer period of lockdown, right? So, I mean, I think the message is very, very clear that we have to all adopt very, very safety precautions, etc. But we have to also start moving, right? So, to that extent, I mean, a lot of our vendors who are in red zone have received permission to operate. Now, the only point which is left, so the point is not whether this vendor will be able to supply or not, right? The point in future for the next few weeks is how much supply can we get, right? That is actually the point. And we are seeing, as I said, we are seeing improvement on that front, right? So we are starting with, let us say, 10% production, and then we'll gradually hope to increase it to 50%. And that I am saying, depending on all the discussions and dialogues we are having with our suppliers. And probably by July sometime, I think we should be close to normal, if not more.
And sir, your comments on
Mr. Banerjee?
No, continuation of the same thing, that various tier 2 component suppliers or even large players are fearing that if there is any case of COVID in the factories, there is a risk of 3 months of production getting stopped and reports like that. So any...
No.
Don't,
No. I want to clarify that. At least what we have received information from our local authorities. I don't know about rest of India so specifically. But I mean, even if there is a case of COVID found in our factory, we are supposed to inform it to the government authorities and contain that for about 2 to 3 days and get it sanitized through some special procedure. So that is what we have received. So based on that, we have already developed a disaster management plan, and we are fully ready to cope up with those situations.
Sure. Thanks.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Pritesh Chheda from Lucky Investment Managers. Please go ahead.
Sir, just one question on your regional mix. How does your mix stack up between north, central, south, and west? Hello?
I'm sorry, I could not hear you. Can you repeat that on regional mix?
how does your regional mix stack up between... Hello? Hello?
Yeah, please go ahead. Yeah.
Yeah. Regional mix, how does it stack up between north, central, south, and west for tractors?
Oh, okay. Okay. So I think I'll send you some detailed data through Prateek later on this. I mean, how do we operate in different sections of the country, geographically. But as you know, they're much more stronger in north, center, and east. And we are trying to grow ourselves in rest of the markets. And if you look at our detailed data, you will see that we have considerably grown in actually our opportunity in weak markets, right? So in the south, for example, in the 4 states, we have grown our market share last year like 120, 140 basis points. And in most of the other states also, which are not in the south, let us say in the west or in far east, like Chhattisgarh, like Gujarat, Maharashtra, even like Odisha and West Bengal, we have had really good growth in all those markets. And those are coming on pretext of 2 things, of course. One is that we are strengthening our distribution in these areas where we were traditionally weak in distribution. And the second is we have developed the years many new products which cater to such markets. For example, like we created a contract atom model, which particularly caters to markets like Maharashtra, Gujarat, and Karnataka. But the data I'll make sure you get it next days.
But in your current mix, north, central, and east will be what percentage of your sales?
Prateek, do you have those numbers right in front of you right now? I mean,
roughly 60-70%,
but I don't want to give a wrong.
60-70%.
Probably 60 to 70% sale is in these regions. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Abhishek Jain from Dolat Capital. Please go ahead.
Thanks for taking my question, sir. Sir, what is the contribution for subsidy-based tractor volume for industry? And given the pandemic situation and limited fiscal and monetary space with the state government, what is the outlook ahead and what sort of the impact in this region?
Okay, so the year before last, which is FY19, the subsidy volume was close to about 11 to 12% of the total volume, right? So roughly about 80 to 90,000 tractors in the whole year. Last year, the subsidy did not play out as well because of many local issues, with states, in terms of administration of the subsidy, etc., right? And some delays because of, again, local issues, nothing structural or nothing that can be extrapolated in future, mainly temporary local issues. But I think this year, the subsidy sales will actually be better than even FY19 as a percentage of overall industry, because there are several schemes in the pipeline which actually some of them got stopped because of the lockdown in the last phase. They were very, very mature, like something in Assam and something in Bihar and probably something in AP, Telangana. They were all stopped because of lockdown, right? So all they will start emerging. Actually, Assam has already started, and we have also started supplying tractors in Assam, and some other markets or some other states will come up very, very quickly now, like Bihar and AP and a few others. So I think this will be a good year. It's hard to say a number, but I think it would be, better than FY19 number.
Okay. And then my next question is related with the outlook for the export, as many countries are imposing high duty on imports. So what sort of the recovery are you looking in export, or what sort of the impact you are looking?
No, we are not looking at any impact. We are looking at a massive explosion in our growth volumes over the next few years. We have invested, we have invested huge amounts of money in creating a very formidable export product lineup. We are now going up to 110, 120 HP. And we are going in the bottom HP segments, we are going as low as 20 HP right now, right? And we are very aggressively expanding distribution in a lot of countries. This Kubota tie-up will also help us, with the export volume. So we are not, even last year, you look at the data, we were the fastest growing in terms of percentage increase in sales in export. Of course, we are a small base, so we should not talk about percentages. But I mean, even if the industry drops, even if there are any problems, we will be all right. And I don't think these import restrictions will be applicable on agri sector anywhere in the world. I mean, barring one or two, maybe somebody will do something. But I think generally, agri sector is also always prevented from these kind of policies.
So as you had mentioned that, sorry.
Hello. Sorry to interrupt. For any follow-up, request you to rejoin the queue, please.
Okay.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Iqbal Khan from CRISIL. Please go ahead. Mr. Khan, your line is in talk mode. Kindly go ahead with the question. As there is no reply from the current participant, we move to the next question from the line of Siddharth Mohta from Principal India. Please go ahead.
Good evening, sir. Sir, I have got one question, which is on your wage agreement. In your presentation, I think you have written, same it has been settled down. So if you can quantify that amount, and in FY21, what can be the number which I should consider?
Bharat?
So Siddharth, the settlement is not yet done. So when we were the lockdown, obviously the negotiation actually was stopped. So now since the things are opening back again, so we are again in discussion with the union. So I think once the settlement is signed, then we'll obviously come back to you. So as of now, it's not final.
Okay. So historically, it has been between, sir, like 9 to 10%, or should I wait for the final conclusion?
Yeah, we'll wait because this time situation is different. So I think every time the base changes and the number of employees are also gone down. So compared to what it used to be 6-7 years ago, so I think we are at a very low level of regular workforce now. So let's wait for the settlement to happen, then we'll come back to you.
Okay, sir, and best wishes for the upcoming quarters.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Rajendra Mishra from IDFC Mutual Fund. Please go ahead.
Hello, sir. Just wanted to know what if COVID would have an impact.
Sir, can you speak closer to the handset, please? Your voice is not audible.
So, I want to know if this COVID lockdown will have an impact on market shares, and whether things will remain status quo, or whether market shares can change, or how do you see that among the top players?
Yeah, you are talking about tractor industry?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so I mean, see, structurally, I mean, COVID will not impact anyone. I mean, anyone's strength or weakness or anything like that, right? So I mean, in the long run, there will be no effect of COVID on market shares at least, right? Of course, market share can move still, but not because of COVID, but because of other things, right? So I don't think there will be a structural impact on market share because of COVID.
Okay, and
I mean, in temporary terms, like 3 months, 6 months period, it may happen because of the supply situations of different manufacturers or demand situation in particular states or something like this. But I think, that would only be short term.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Mahantesh Muralinga from Finquest Securities. Please go ahead.
Good evening, sir. Just had a couple of questions here. So actually, I heard in some of the news that there are some crop losses due to the farmers not able to reach their produce to the market. In spite of that, are you able to see a demand uptick in the near term?
I think this is all just media hoopla. There is no truth about it. These are very sporadic cases. Please don't take it generally. I think generally there have been no losses. Even hailstorm, etc. I read in news that in some areas there was like huge devastation, etc. Believe me, those are only sporadic cases. We are in touch with a lot of farmers, and we are not seeing nothing of this sort. I mean, on a large scale.
Okay, sir. So also you mentioned about the pent-up demand of 40 to 50%. What do you exactly mean by that? You mean the like-to-like March-April numbers demand going up by that number, or what is the meaning of that?
No, what I mean by pent-up demand is definitely there was a loss of sales at the industry level in March and April, and continues to be in May also. right? So rough guesstimate is that we might have lost about 70,000-80,000 tractors at the industry level, just from the lockdown period until now, right? So when I say 30-40% will come back, which I mean is whatever demand we lost because of the lockdown, about 30-40% of that will come back, and we will see that in June-October period, right? Over and above the normal levels of June-October, right? So that is what I mean. So I think June-October will definitely see a growth in volume as compared to last year's because of this pent-up demand. And then, of course, if there are any other positive factors, then they will also contribute.
So along with the normal growth of June-October industry growth, we expect around 40 to 50% of the 70-80K lost during the 3 months.
That is a rough estimate, yeah.
Okay, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Nirmal Bari from Samiksha Capital. Please go ahead.
Yes, sir. I just have two clarification questions. One is on the subsidy that you said that this year you are expecting a much stronger subsidy sales. But given the fiscal condition of the states, what is giving us confidence in terms of the subsidy sales? And the second question is, if you can, the tractor division has seen significant increase in gross margin in the current quarter. So if you can provide a reason for that.
Yeah, I will answer the first one, and then Bharat might take the second one. Governments are not worried about fiscal deficits and all that right now, right? Right now they want to support people to come back to normal lives, right? We hear this 10% of GDP as the relief package. We don't have those extra funds available right now, but government wants to spend that right now because they want to just bring the economy and business and lives back to normal as much as they can. Right. So, agri is always a priority sector. There are a lot of mass population affected through agri, right? So we think that government's focus will actually increase this year on agri because they want to benefit all these people.
Okay. And for the material cost decrease on tractors?
So, Nirmal, I think we had responded to this question in the earlier. I think somebody asked the same question. So, see that there's one-off obviously benefit which has happened in this quarter also because of the higher production base being there, and there's a lot of inventory which we actually carried when the lockdown happened. So that is roughly 2%, which margin actually improvement is coming from there. And in addition, as we mentioned in the opening remarks, so there has been improvement in the product mix this time because we are selling higher farm track and higher HP tractors more than we did the last year. And also some material cost initiative which have been there, and there's also deflation of the commodity prices, which has actually helped us in improving the margin.
Okay, but the higher inventory shouldn't be impacting the material cost line item, right? Because the revenue that we are booking.
No, it does because it's a finished good. No. So because the inventory gets when you produce tractors, it gets inventorized if it's unsold, and that inventory ultimately leads to the lower cost of goods sold. So that the benefit comes in the material cost. So this is like it's a non-recurring item, but this is a benefit in this quarter, but the hit will come in the subsequent period when the tractors actually get sold.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Jinesh Gandhi from Motilal Oswal Securities Limited. Please go ahead.
Hi, sir. Just two questions. One is on the tractor financing, how much of financing would be coming from NBFCs? And second question would be with respect to the capex for FY21. What are we budgeting for?
Okay, I'll take the first one. As far as financing is concerned, you know that public sector banks have absolutely no role in tractor financing anymore. Right, so that percentage would be like hardly 1 or 2% or 3%. Right, so most of the finances is through private banks and NBFCs, and between the two, I think the ratio will be about 2/3 and 1/3. 2/3 would be NBFC and 1/3 would be private bank.
Okay. And capex?
So, Jinesh, this year, if it was a normal year, our original plan was to spend close to 250 crores this year on the capex, which was also the plan last year till the time the lockdown happens. Now, depending on when the complete position opens up, so obviously there are projects which are in the pipeline where the money is already committed and that has to be spent. So it will all depend on how the opening up happens. So original plan was 250 crores, and we hope we should be obviously below that, looking at this condition now. So anywhere between 200 to 250 will be the wild guess at this point.
Okay, got it. Great. Thanks and all the best.
Thank you. We take the last question from the line of Bhaskar Murediwala from ASK Investments. Please go ahead.
Yeah, thanks, sir, for taking my question. Couple of questions. One, on this Kubota deal, just wanted to understand the tractors that you'll be selling abroad, will that be co-branded or would be purely under Kubota brand? So how is that going to be?
Yeah, so that decision we are going to take based on which market we are entering and the market dynamics. But so far, wherever we have started, we are using a joint brand, which is called which is joint brand. And but based on the market to market phenomena and dynamics, we will choose that going forward.
And so just to understand, I mean, as I understand, one is of course to leverage the distribution network that Kubota has and possibly to enter more high-end markets, either leveraging their brand or a co-brand. But from an overall partnership or a joint venture perspective, I mean, setting up a manufacturing facility in India for somebody like Kubota, where you get it more efficient and lower cost, probably compared to some of the other markets, is also a reason why we are setting up manufacturing, and then it becomes a win-win for both the partners. Is that a broader thought process also?
See, this relationship has a lot of facets, right? I mean, we are going to cooperate and collaborate in many, many different ways, right? So like exports is one, manufacturing is another. We are also thinking about how we can collaborate in developing products jointly for the global markets, right? So lot of facets. I mean, we are going to learn from each other on manufacturing processes, on selling processes, on other business processes. Right. So yeah, I mean, this is a kind of a deep and wide relationship.
Sure. Just one small last question on the working capital side. Saw significant improvement this year. Would you like to talk a little bit in terms of what exactly the company has done, and do you think that this is going to be the working capital control that we have bought this year is going to be the sustainable in future?
So, Bhaskar, there are 2-3 reasons for this. So, if you look at the numbers which are there in FY19, a lot of money actually got blocked in the working capital. So, there's some amount which is stuck with the government under some supplies which happened under the subsidy program. Then we also had issues in not getting the GST refunds in time. So, there's a 2 years accumulation which was there as of March 19. And also, I think a lot of work which has happened on the inventory front, because we were expecting a good season in April 19. So we had actually built up good inventory at that time and also stocked the channel at that point in time. So the receivables were also quite high. So I think all those corrections have been done now in this year. So we got money back from the government for the subsidy-based scheme this year, which is close to 100 odd crores. We also got the refund from the GST from export as well as for domestic, which was again close to 125 crores this year. And obviously the inventory levels which were there in last year, we could not correct that. So because the lockdown happened, so suddenly we are actually stuck with this inventory. So that has still to happen. So we'll see probably that inventory level going down this year too. So some working capital release will happen this year. So that's where we stand today. Oh. There were 350 crores of working capital which got released last year.
Yeah, that's right. Sure. Thank you so much. That's helpful.
Thank you. I now hand the conference over to Mr. Bharat Madan for closing comments.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for being present on this call. For any feedback and or queries, please feel free to write in to us at investorrelation@escorts.co.in. Thank you very much and have a great evening, and please stay safe. Thank you.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of HSBC Securities and Capital Markets India Private Limited, that concludes this conference. Thank you all for joining us, and you may now disconnect your lines.